The best way to look out for your client's best interest is to protect them. In this episode, I'm going to address how to break free from the herd of financial advisors and become a better fiduciary. So, my name's Doug Andrew. I've been a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist for north of 48 years. I have actually helped more than 3,000 financial advisors take their practice to as much as 10 times growth in less than 60 months. And I'm going to share with you at the end of this episode how you can do that. I want to gift you a copy of my book called The 10 Keys Transformation. I'm also going to show you how you can join one of the mastermind groups that I facilitate. But as I proceed through this episode, I'm going to give you insights into the fiduciary standard and what that really means, and sort of the hidden agenda behind the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, especially that was established in 2012 under President Obama. And why I'm so glad that Trump sort of put a stop to that, but it's going to come back. I'm going to talk about, golly, is deferring tax really the best way to counsel your clients to prepare for the future? Or is there a better way? Are you being a good fiduciary if you tell them to put money in IRAs or 401ks is what I'm getting to. I'll talk about why that is not the best way. How to eliminate 3 big dangers that most financial advisors do not know how to eliminate from their clients' hard-earned money and the nest eggs they accumulate. And then I'm going to show you why most fiduciaries are not really looking out for their clients' best interest. They think they are, but they're not. So put on your seatbelt. Here we go. And as I proceed, feel free to post a comment. Click like or share it with another financial advisor. But I would love for you to subscribe to this channel because there are over 700 educational videos. It's free when you subscribe, and I post a new one almost on a daily basis. So here we go. Let's talk about the fiduciary standard. Simply put, you probably understand, if you're a financial advisor, that if you're a fiduciary, you are supposed to look out for your client's best interest ahead of your own. Now, I have noticed a lot of financial planners that sometimes design plans or sell products that will actually be to their benefit or their spouse's benefit more than the client's benefit. You know, I've always taken pride in trying to help always look out for my client's best interest first, to treat them as if they were my own parents, okay? What I do with my own money. I never have recommended people put money into something that I have not invested in myself or that my family, my spouse, my children have invested in and have had good experiences with, even though sometimes some of those turn south and they surprise us, but nonetheless, I do not recommend things that we don't invest in ourselves. We practice what we preach is what I'm talking about. So the fiduciary standard that is bragged about is, oh, we're fiduciaries. We look out for your best interest. And I go, really? So let me give you some examples why I think that is sometimes not true. Let's go back to this 2012 period under the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau that was created because of the 2008, mortgage meltdown crash, where a lot of Americans lost 40% of their money in traditional IRAs or 401ks invested in the market for the second time in a decade. And so, the federal government tries to swoop in and be the hero. So they set up the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. Sounds really good, doesn't it? Well, in 2012, the head of that was Richard Cartwright. And he basically said, you know what we're going to do? We are going to have a fiduciary standard required. Now that sounds really good. There were a lot of fiduciaries that said, hallelujah. They are going to build us up as fiduciaries, looking out for people's best interest. And anybody that is not a licensed fiduciary, we can eliminate as competition. No. This is his hidden agenda with that. See, what they were waiting for is the next crash to happen. And it was actually a setup, in my opinion, had Hillary been elected, but then Trump comes in, okay? And he started to create a booming economy. I'm not here, this is not a political agenda, but it sort of ruined their plan because they were waiting for the next crash and they wanted to swoop in and say, enough already. We are going to require that fiduciaries, licensed fiduciaries, must put 20%, 30%, 40%, and they were going to up it through the years, of your IRA or 401k money into U.S. Treasuries. Really? Oh, because they're safe. Why are they safe? Because the federal government can print money and tax people. Yeah. Okay, I think the federal government could go bankrupt, and technically they have, but they keep printing money and taxing people. But they said, we're going to use U.S. Treasuries. Well, those are pathetic. Crediting 1%, 2%, 3%, but they're saying, oh no, we want to give you at least 1 or 2 or 3% instead of losing 30% in the market. So we want to be heroes. Well, what are they doing? They realized at the time, Richard Cardray realized that there was, at that time in 2012, something like $22 trillion in Americans' IRAs and 401ks. And they said, we don't want to wait around to tap into that when people retire, have to wait until people retire and they start taking it out and then tax it. We want to get that money faster. How do we get it? We borrow it. We offer U.S. Treasuries and we make it mandatory that fiduciaries must diversify IRAs or 401ks 20, 30, 40% or more into U.S. Treasuries. Now the government gets $4, $5, $6, $7 trillion like that of your money, and they pay you 2 or 3%. That was the ulterior motive. That was the hidden agenda. And yet, I remember seeing so many financial advisors saying, oh, we are holding to the fiduciary standard. We are fee-based, as if that was a virtue to be fee-based. Maybe not. So let me ask you this. If you saw that you were not going to be in a lower tax bracket, if you're accumulating enough money, and most Americans who have enough money saved in their IRAs or 401ks, they hit retirement and they're not in lower tax brackets. This has not been the case for more than 25 years. The only people in lower tax brackets when they retire are those people that didn't save very much money. So if that's true, and the only people who are in lower brackets are those who didn't save, why are people in as higher brackets? Well, it's because they usually pay off their house, and so they don't have that tax deduction anymore, the interest deduction. They're not contributing money to IRAs or 401ks in retirement. You don't have that deduction. Congress keeps raising taxes through the years, and they're doing that big time as of the recording of this episode. Your kids are gone, so you can't deduct them anymore. If you're a business owner, you don't have those deductions anymore. So even if people have the same income or less, they're paying as much or more in tax because their deductions are all gone, okay? And so people aren't in lower tax brackets. Now, I could usually look at my clients who were successful, and most of my clients, they wanted to have the same lifestyle or higher. So they were not going to be in lower tax brackets. And so I went, as a fiduciary, why would they ever come out ahead postponing or procrastinating tax to some future perceived unknown advantage in a tax-deferred IRA or 401k? No, that doesn't make sense. So I never recommended IRAs or 401ks. If anything, you pay tax on the contribution and you enjoy the distributions tax-free. That would be a Roth. But I've never owned an IRA or 401k, never will. I've never owned a Roth, never will. Because my favorite vehicle, which I call the laser fund, has the two benefits of a Roth. Your money accumulates tax-free. You can access it tax-free. You fund it with after-tax dollars, but I have 4 additional benefits Roths will never have. So why would I mess around with all the strings attached with a Roth? A Roth, you can only put in a certain dollar amount, a certain percent of your income. You can't touch it for 5 years without a penalty or until you're 59 and a half. I don't want all those strings attached. With the laser fund, I can put in 30,000, 100,000, 300,000. I can put in 300 and pull out 200,000 5 days later. You can't do that with a Roth. But I link my returns to the things that inflate. And if inflation is 10, I earn 15. I've always been able to outpace inflation. Why would I own a Roth when I can have something better? You can learn more about this in the book I'm going to gift you here in just a moment. Now, folks, with what I've said so far, subscribe to this channel, share this with other financial advisors, but stay with me another moment or two. I want to gift you a copy of a book and show you how you can learn more. What are the biggest dangers that cause most retirees to outlive their money? Taxes, and they're not going down. Most people believe taxes in the future will be higher. Inflation, and it's here to stay because the government's been printing money like crazy because they're spending 3 to 4 times what they're bringing in, and then continued market volatility because of this topsy-turvy fiscal monetary policy. The reason why I use my favorite vehicle, the laser fund, is because it eliminates those 3 dangers: taxes, inflation, and market volatility, because it's tax-free. You link your returns to the things that inflate. You use indexing. You do not lose when the market goes down. You make money when the market goes up. And it provides liquidity, safety, and earns predictable rates of return. I believe I am looking out for my client's best interest by eliminating those dangers. And so that's being a true fiduciary and making sure that they pay taxes on the contribution phase and they enjoy the distribution phase tax-free. 91% of fiduciaries out there are doing the opposite. They're deferring tax, and they know their clients will likely pay taxes in retirement, and it will cause them to outlive their money. Are they really looking out for their client's best interest? I don't think so. They're not good fiduciaries, in my opinion. So what should you do? I believe that you ought to look at something that's different. If you're a financial advisor, fee-based is not always the best. I can prove to you that if a fee of 1% a year is charged and your client starts out with $500,000 and you double it to $1 million, and then it doubles to $2 million, $2 million doubles to $4 million, and $4 million doubles to $8 million, like my clients have done, you would have earned in commissions just under $1 million by charging them 1% of that account every year for 30 years. That wasn't cheap. By using a max-funded IUL, I may have earned $20,000 when they put in the first $500,000, but I never earned a dime on all the money they made when it grew to $8 million over 30 years. What would you rather pay, $20,000 or $980,000 being a fee-based advisor? Fee-based advisors are the most expensive most of the time. And just because you're a fee-based advisor does not necessarily qualify you as being a good fiduciary. Other than that, I don't have any strong feelings on this subject. But if you want to learn more, I would recommend you go to 2 different websites. The book, The 10 Keys Transformation, will show you how you can take your financial practice to 10 times in 60 months or less while simplifying your life. You simply go to 10keysbook.com, but put free in front of that. Free 10 Keys book, and that's the number 10. So what it looks like is free10keysbook.com, and you contribute a nominal amount towards the processing, and then you can print out a digital version, which will be about an inch thick, or you can also get the audio if you want. There's an 18-hour masterclass. But if you already sell IUL to your clients, I want you to go to IULinsiderpro.com. IUL Insiders is a mastermind group that I facilitate where I teach marketing and how you teach and educate your clients every Monday. And every Thursday, my son shows you how to design cases. And we have a mastermind group, and many who belong have not only doubled, but some are on the way to 10 timesing their IUL practice. So go to IULinsiderpro.com, click on the link, enter your information. We teach a webinar on a monthly basis. Join us. And then if this is right for you, put on your seatbelt. And I want to help you take your practice to a whole new level, break free from the herd, and become a better fiduciary for your clients.